What's going on, everybody? We have week 11 in the NFL. I'm going to cover the morning and the afternoon games here on the West Coast. I have 6 plays for you. My first one is going to be the Chiefs and Bills game. Look forward to Josh Allen here. I think he's going to have himself a big day. That's why I'm taking his pass yards. If you look at his last 5, he's averaging 267. If we look at Josh Allen versus the Chiefs, anytime these two teams are on the field, it's must-watch TV. Every game in the regular season except for one, he's hit his over on the props for the passing yards. And this season, he started off kind of slow, hit or miss, but in his last, 5 games or 4 games, he's hit almost 300 yards, 280 last week with no touchdown passes and 2 picks, but still managed to throw for almost 300 yards. The Chiefs defense, the run defense is really good. Where he can get ahead is in the passing game. He's got a lot of weapons. He's got 2 great tight ends. He's got Amari Cooper now as a great weapon. So expect a great game here. That's exactly why we're going with Patrick Mahomes as my second pick here. Mahomes, he does really well versus Buffalo. He's going to be on the road. He's only played him in Buffalo one time during the regular season, which they won. If we look at Patrick Mahomes, it's been a bumpy ride for them this year, but he's picking up steam at the right time. They got Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce is making an appearance again. And if we just look at the stats here, Patrick Mahomes versus Buffalo, really, really good. Multiple passing touchdown games except for one in December. And then during the playoffs, he has multiple touchdown games in every time he's played them. So I feel pretty confident with that. 51,000 people feel confident too. I'm going to ride along with it. So we have 2 picks. I'm going to give you 4 more. I'm going to go with another quarterback here in one of the early games. We're going with the rookie here, Bo Nix. His passing yards is kind of low, 210. They're playing Atlanta, and he's proven to be improving over time. If we look earlier in the season, he's throwing for 60 yards, 138. But recently, towards the middle of the season, he's been picking it up. He's had 3 games in a row with over 200 yards passing, especially at that heartbreaker last week versus Kansas City, who's got a good defense. He threw 223 versus Baltimore at Baltimore. The running game isn't that great, and they're playing Atlanta, and not to mention he faces Atlanta, which allows the 7th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this week, and he's thrown 4 touchdowns in his last 6 games. So he's doing really well, and that's why I'm riding with him. So we got 3 picks down, 3 left to go. This is going to be a fun play right here. Stick with me. You don't have to write it if you don't want. You can fade this play altogether. But we are looking at Derek Carr. I was torn, either the rush yards for 1 yard or the carries, or the rush attempts. I'm going to take the rush attempts here at over 1.5. Derek Carr, he has 12 carries on the season. He had 4 last week. He was battling injury, but earlier in the season, before he was injured, he was carrying the ball at least once or twice a game. And they're playing the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns, they give up at least a couple rush attempts per game this season at opposing quarterbacks. I was just looking and kind of curious. They played the Cowboys earlier in the season. They gave up 2 rush attempts here. Trevor Lawrence 2, Daniel Jones 8, Minshew 2. Of course, Jaden Daniels and Hurts and Burrow. These numbers are correlating really well to him hitting the over 1.5. Derek Carr's got the wheels. He's a little frisky. I'm a Raiders fan, so I used to watch him scamper and do all that crazy stuff. So we have 4. I have 2 left, and it takes us to the same game. I'm going to give you my last 2 picks, and they're going to be my favorite picks. Tyreek Hill is going to get in the end zone. He scored last week, finally breaking out of his slump it was either his 2nd or his 3rd touchdown all year. Tua and the Dolphins go to Vegas and play the Raiders, and they're going to carve him up. I can already see it. Tyreek Hill, he knows the Raiders very well. He used to play him twice a year versus the Chiefs. He's played him once last year in November this time. It's been almost a year since they've played, where he had 11 targets, 10 catches for $150 and a touchdown. The Raiders' secondary is a joke. They're going to get whooped on, and that's exactly why I'm taking Tyreek to score. And that's exactly also why, for my last pick, we're doing Jason Saunders, the kicker for the Dolphins. We are going to be doing his kicking points. I was torn between fantasy score or kicking points, but if you can see why, this is my favorite pick. 7.5, that's really low. especially for a team that's going to be moving the ball up and down the field really easily. Jason Saunders, if we look on ESPN.com and we just take a look at his stats on the year, the opportunities are there, and he's been making the most of them. If we look here from week 1, he had 3 attempts, week 2, 1 attempts, but then every game this season he's had multiple attempts. And look at the points. 11 last week, 9, 9, 4, 9, 6. This is the best opportunity that Jason Sanders is going to have to hit this number. I was looking at the rest of their schedule, and the Dolphins doesn't look too good, but versus the Raiders here, I'm going to take an opportunity to jump on this and get this win. So those are the picks, everybody. Josh Allen on the passing yards, Patrick Mahomes on the passing touchdowns, Bo Nix on the yards, Derek Carr on the rush attempts, Hill to score, and Jason Saunders at over 7.5 kicking points. I want to say thanks for watching, everybody, and good luck.